All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the Jets just wrapped up their training camp practice for the day, and overall, it was a pretty light practice, right? No pads involved, so there's really only so much that you can take away from it. But with that said, of course, the preseason game against the Bucks is on Saturday at 7:30 Eastern, and of course, yesterday the Jets and the Bucks had their joint practice. Today's joint practice between the two was canceled, right? And to quickly recap yesterday, it just seemed highly unproductive fights throughout the practice. Tony Oden, the Jets defensive back coach, had to be taken to the hospital because he collapsed midway through the practice. What else? The offensive line struggles. Aaron Rodgers getting sacked left and right. And then on the Bucs side, Russell Gage, right, a young wide receiver that I personally feel like is a bit underrated, had a pretty serious knee injury and was ruled out for the entire year. So to me, it seemed like the smarter move. Let's just move on, have a lighter day in practice and kind of see where it goes, get ready for the game on Saturday. So I think the first thing that's big here that needs to be talked about, Dalvin Cook was there. Right, Dalvin Cook was there. He was in a Jets uniform working in the rehab area with AVT and Laken Tomlinson. Now, what was a bit strange about it was I was not expecting Dalvin to be here, right? When we heard from Saleh, it was either yesterday or 2 days ago, he said that Dalvin was going to be going home back to Florida after signing the deal. And because he was, he's still coming back from the shoulder, he's expecting a child. He was going to go back down to Florida, spend some time down there, and then maybe next week he would be back. But he was like at Jets practice today, so I guess that's a plus. So even though we were talking a little bit about it before, right, about how the practice was shorter on the day, Breece Hall was not only just out there, but he was participating in 11-on-11s, and he was looking really good. He was making cuts. He looked fast. He looked explosive. And apparently, at one point, Aaron Rodgers hit him in a passing play that went for a major gain, and that made my day, right? To have Breece Hall. And by the way, we still have 3.5 weeks before the start of the regular season, and Hall is now off the PUP list. He's practicing. Of course, we got to ease him back in. I'm not really expecting him to be playing this Saturday. I don't think he should. So for me, it was probably just the right move to, have the lighter practice today and then have the off day tomorrow. And then of course the game on Saturday. And by the way, Saleh said in his post practice presser that Zach Wilson is going to be starting, same type of setup against the Carolina Panthers, right? So Zach Wilson for some time, and then Tim Boyle, no Aaron Rodgers, obviously. And then same thing with the defense, maybe a little bit more starters on defense, but for this week, as far as the Bucs game is concerned, it looks like it's pretty much just going to be mirroring the same exact setup as last week. Now, as far as the on the field stuff, it was up and down, but like I said before, because there's no tackling, because there's no pads or anything like that, there's really only so much that you can pull away from it. And factor in that it was a shorter practice on the day, so not a ton going on. Rodgers had a touchdown drive. Rodgers had an interception, just up and down. But supposedly the offensive line looked better. Could you tie that into the practice being less physical and whatnot? Yeah, probably. But hey, as long as Rodgers is not running around, I think when we talk about like the results of plays, whether it's like a touchdown pass, an interception, whatever the end result is, that's fine. However it plays out, like this is why practice is a thing, right? So guys can work, iron out the wrinkles and get accustomed to everything, get comfortable, make those mistakes, and then learn from them. That way you're not behind on game day. My issue, though, is when we are constantly day after day after day after day getting beat in one-on-one matchups. Right, and this goes for the offensive line and the defensive line. This can go for, wide receivers and a corner when it's just day after day, one-on-one matchups, tackle versus edge, and you're constantly getting beat. You're constantly getting burned. So hopefully, against the Buccaneers, we can have a little bit more clarity, some solid play. I thought the offensive line looked better in the Panther game as opposed to the Browns Hall of Fame game, which is a major plus. Now, of course, Laken Tomlinson and Elijah Vera Tucker and Dwayne Brown didn't practice today, so I am not expecting them to be out there against the Buccaneers. For me, if I'm Saleh, they are not playing. Even if they can play, they're not playing. But Mekhi Becton was out there today, unfortunately rolling with the twos again, and he had some snaps at right tackle. Right, so Billy Turner and Max Mitchell were the starting two tackles, and then Becton was rolling with the second team. So I think, once again, when we look at this third preseason game against Tampa, when it comes to Zach Wilson, when it comes to Mekhi Becton, I just want to see bigger sample sizes. Of course, two different situations. With Wilson, it's more so like the mental side of it and the positional side of it. Whereas Becton, it's like, how long can the knee hold up? I know he pulled himself out of the Cleveland Browns game. So obviously two different situations for sure, but at the same time, it's like two players that I really, really want to go see attack reps, attack this defense, and hopefully get some learning experiences to just stack on top of these days, continuing to get better ultimately. Now, in regard to the offensive line, Saleh did address it. He did say that the best five will play, and nobody in the building is panicking currently about the offensive line, which I guess is a good sign. But you could also make an argument: why would Saleh come out and say, "Yeah, we're definitely concerned about it"? We all saw the Hard Knocks clip, right? We all saw how these joint practices are going, how really these training camp practices are going from top to bottom. So it is what it is. As long as the Jets aren't honestly internally panicking, I think we're okay. Rodgers addressed it also yesterday, said that he's not too worried about it at this point in time. And of course, Dwayne Brown's coming back. We haven't even seen him. I think the bottom line is there's time. There's time to make a move. There's time to make a trade. There's time to claim somebody off of waivers, somebody who gets released, sign a current free agent out in the open market. We still have a lot of time here, but right now it is looking like they're still trying to move guys around, see which players are sticking with which spots, if anybody's starting to excel. That's kind of, it still seems like we're at kind of level one, if that makes sense. Still trying, we're still in like the figure it out type of phase. And by the way, also talking about another offensive lineman here, Joe Tippmann, Saleh addressed him in the press conference as well, said that it was unfortunate that they had to play him at left guard because of the amount of injuries on the O-line, because he was also making really, really good progress at center. So, Tippmann's another guy with Becton and Zach that I want to see out there in the preseason game. Let's just get him reps. Continue to get him reps, get him experience. Right, with Becton and Wilson, they've been in the league for a couple years, and obviously Mekhi has that whole rookie season under his belt here. But for Tippmann, he hasn't even played in a real NFL regular season game. These preseason snaps are huge. They're huge for him, especially if he's not consistently rolling with the ones or twos in camp. So it's just free extra experience going up against different talent, going up against a different scheme. So I'll leave it there. Again, short practice on the day. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, go Jets.